Kathy Korte was elected to the Albuquerque Public School Board right after Susana Martinez became governor and began her campaign to overhaul public education.
I supported the governor and was very excited about a change.
Once Korte saw how the policies were being rolled out and how they were affecting her own children, she and her school board voiced their concerns to the public education department. They opposed what they call the state's excessive testing, and they questioned the validity of the teacher evaluation system. The board requested a review of the policies, but Korte says the public education department ignored the concerns of school boards throughout the state and steamrolled ahead with the overhaul.
So I took it to the parents that I know and said, guys, you need to help me. Will you help me? Because this is bad. And had a lot of meetings in my home with these parents explaining everything.
And Korte says parents didn't like what they were discovering about their children's education. The group swelled into Stand4Kids New Mexico, a statewide movement and social media campaign to oppose what they see as corporate standardization and an overemphasis on testing. And that's when the public education department started pushing back. Korte says the department disputed claims Korte made in a letter to a lawmaker, circulating an official rebuttal to teachers, superintendents, and school boards across the state.
People are starting to call me, Kathy, did you know your letter? I got your letter. And these are people in Deming that I knew on the school board down in Las Cruces.
Korte says if it was intended to quell public disapproval of the education overhaul, it didn't have that effect.
But that's what caused the Facebook page to explode, was that letter. People didn't know who I was until they got this letter in their email queue saying, who is Kathy Korte? Googled me, found the Facebook page.
As the movement has become bolder, Korte says she's had to endure the backlash of her critics.
The names that they call me, I hate them. I think they're misogynist names. But, you know, I'm out of control, emotional, wacky, crazy with a K, Krazy Kathy Korte. Yeah, I'm crazy in love with my kids, and I'm going to fight for what I want them to have in school.
A Washington, D.C. GOP opposition research group recently began looking into Korte, requesting information from her, and Republican State Representative Monica Youngblood filed a complaint with the New Mexico Secretary of State. Youngblood did not respond to an interview request, but in an email to the Secretary of State, Youngblood alleged that the Stand4Kids group is in violation of the Campaign Reporting Act, stating the group raises, collects, expends, or contributes money or any other thing of value for a political purpose, specifically the election of Gary King, all without registering as a political action committee. Korte maintains the group is nonpartisan and has not made contributions to Gary King's campaign. Secretary of State spokesperson Ken Ortez says the complaint is still being evaluated. Korte says it's just another attempt to distract and intimidate.
So they won't address the core issue here. Instead, they're going after me personally, which is fine.
Korte says attempts to discredit and silence opponents have helped to publicize the Stand4Kids organization. But at the same time, she says they are using her as an example of what happens to vocal opponents.
If I'm a voice for a lot of people who are afraid, then so be it. I'll be that voice. I don't mind being the voice. But there are a lot of people who are afraid, and it makes me sad, and it makes me really angry. It's like, you know what? If you don't agree with this, then you ought to have the ability to say that without being scared that you're going to be fired.
Korte is pushing for a new public education secretary, a moratorium on testing, and a research review into the cost and effectiveness of state standards, with her hopes pinned to Gary King's win in the gubernatorial race. For KRWG, I'm Simon Thompson.